Okay, here we've been asked to solve square root of 3x plus 6 equals 2x plus 1. So the square root bit is the nasty bit. You need to get rid of that first. The way to get rid of it is to square both sides. So we're going to square that and we're going to square that. Well, the whole reason why we're squaring this is because that would just still be 3x plus 6. We're going to square the right hand side where you've got a perfect square, so 2x squared, so 2x times 2x is 4x squared, 2x times 1 is 2x, 2x times 1 is 2x, add them together, 4x, and 1 times 1 is 1. So now you can see quadratic forming. You're looking now to make this one side 0, whichever side keeps the x's positive, so I'm going to leave the 0 over here. Subtract 3x, subtract the 6, so you're going to have 4x squared plus 4x minus 3x is plus 1x. 1 minus 6 is minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to factorise this, and I'm going to use a splitting the middle term approach. So AC is 4 times minus 5 was minus 20. B equals 1, so your two numbers to split the x, they should multiply to make AC, and they should add to make B in the middle, so that's going to be 4 and 5, and if you look at the signs, well, they've got to have a different sign to make minus 20. The bigger one's got to be positive, so it's going to be minus 4 and plus 5, which means minus 4x and plus 5x, so we can split the x term with that. So you're going to put the 4x with the 4x squared and the 5x next to the 5. So you're going to have 4x squared minus 4x plus 5x minus 5 equals 0. So it was 0 equals before, now it's equals 0. Factorise them both, so factorise these two in pairs, factorise this pair and this pair. Highest common factor there is 4x. So 4x times x makes 4x squared, 4x times minus 1 makes minus 4x. Same with these two, highest common factor is 5, so plus 5, 5 times x is 5x, 5 times minus 1 is minus 5 equals 0. So then pull the x minus 1 out of here as a common factor, that would be 4x plus 5 x minus 1 equals 0. So that would mean either 4x plus 5 equals 0 or x minus 1 equals 0. So x equals minus 5 over 4 or x equals 1. Now I'm going to come on to this in a minute. If you keep watching the videos, we do need to test these solutions, so they might not both work. Just basically all we've proven is that they are the two solutions to this equation. It does not mean that they are the two solutions to the original equation, which I will come on to in more detail soon, very, very soon actually. So what we're going to do, we're going to substitute into the original equation to check. Check by substituting into original. I hope I'm going to have room for this. Right, so we're going to check these values by substituting into the original equation, which is this. So you need to check, so when x equals minus 5 over 4, is this thing true? So does the square root of 3 times minus 5 over 4 plus 6 equal 2 times minus 5 over 4 plus 1? Right, so 3, that's minus 15 over 4, minus 15 over 4, plus 6, which is 6 over 1, which is 24 over 4. Does the square root of that equal minus 10 over 4 plus 1 over 1, which is 4 over 4? So basically you're asking, is the square root of minus 15 plus 24, we'll just do 24 minus 15, so take away 5 is 19, take away 10 is 9, so does the square root of 9 over 4 equal minus 6 over 4, which is minus 3 over 2, right? Now, you may be tempted to look at this and say, well, if I square root this, I kind of get plus or minus 3 over 2, and I understand that. But the problem is, if you consider this original function, so minus square root of 3x plus 6, it's kind of, because it's a function, it's going to look something like that. So it's only going to have positive values, because if it did something like this, as in if we took the negative values as well, we'd have a problem. So basically, when we're square rooting in terms of an equation like this, we're only considering positive outputs and positive inputs. So not positive, positive outputs. So basically 3 over 2 here, I'm only considering the positive values. So 3 over 2 does not equal minus 3 over 2. And so x equals minus 5 over 4. I'm going to run out of room, so let me try this system. I hope it works. X equals minus 5 over 4 is not a solution. We do the same for when x equals 1. X equals 1, so let's see if I can remember the equations. It was square root of 3x plus 6, so 3 times 1 plus 6. Does that equal? It was 2x plus 1. So 2 times 1 plus 1. So does the square root of 3 times 1 is 3, 9. Does that equal 3? Well, yes, so I've just told you we're only considering positive values, so 3 equals 3. So x equals 1 is the only solution.